I think I got it. Obviously, like, you need to put your pull start in here, so this part goes down. Getting it back on. I think there's going to be a little bit of pounding. A little bit. Or not. That was too easy. Is that it? What I've noticed you can do with these things here is even a PVC pipe, just go like that on top of it. Get a couple taps. Should be it. Alright, so we want to get this surface cleaner. And this surface mates with this surface. Already cleaned that one. And sometimes the gasket is a little stuck on there. There's a lot of ways to try to get this off, but you want to try to not mar the surface. So I kind of figured out this works really well. You take a brass wire wheel, because this brass is softer than aluminum, right? You don't push too hard. Get some WD-40. That's what's in this bottle, right? And you just kind of lightly push. Don't push hard. Alright, so this could be easy, or it could be difficult. We're going to try to put the piston back in. Now remember, the piston has number 1 here. This faces away from the flywheel. Right, so it slides on like that. Okay, there's a gasket that goes there. And that gasket... This kit's cool because it comes with 2 O-rings. I don't know where they're from, or I mean what they are for. So this path, make sure you line those up, those grooves there. I don't know if you can mess it up because I think it kind of forces you into doing it. Yeah, like that's not going to work, but that will. Yeah. So like that. All right. Yeah. Just like that. Okay. So now I'm kind of torn. There's a couple of things I can do here. Gotta try to slide this piston in. Right? Now, remember I said I wanted to show you a little problem here. I did describe how this was very glazed over. I thought I can use this honed-in stone to like try to deglaze it, but I can't because two-stroke engines have a lot of pathways along the side for the air and fuel mixture and the impulse of the engine from the bottom to help with the suction of fuel to come in, and the exhausts and the intake is on they have holes. Those wouldn't really be the issues. It's more like these passages here. So I can't really hone this, which is not with that hone anyway. I have a feeling I might fare better with one of those ball hones. That I think that would do better. So anyway, that's what I ran into as a problem. Now we have to get this here back on, and those holes have to line up too, so you can watch and see where they go. Now, if everything goes well, I'll show you how to slide this on quite easily. The piston itself, I don't see. You know what? Let me take this off and take a closer look. Sometimes there are these little grooves Oh, there it is, right there. So you got to make sure this lines up, or I was going to break this ring. Don't ask me how I know. Okay, so you see that right there? You see the hole? I mean that pin? That pin tells you that you got to make sure this is set like that. If that's not set like that, you're going to go pushing on this and you're going to break it. So I'm thinking, right, I think we should put this in first. Yeah, that's what we should do. So let's see if we can get that in easily. Well, that was too easy. Wow. Okay, good. Okay, so that's in, right? We got the gasket, which should be. We know that the number 1 side was facing away. Yep. Oh, look, there's some gasket material there, so we're gonna get rid of that. Yeah, let's do that. Bring this back down. Go flywheel. I think that thing is gonna be my own personal nightmare. Okay. As in, I'm unsure if it actually needs to be pressed in any harder, but you saw what I did, so I deduced that it's already in as far as it can go. Right. Get your glasses. I think a respirator would be a good idea too, to be honest with you. So there's some gasket material that's left. There's no marring whatsoever, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, okay. Alright, so got that cleaned up. Looks pretty good. Take this, put this back in. Need to get a bigger vise. It was a 5-inch, 8-inch. I don't know what the heck this is. I don't know. Not 4-inch. Yeah, I need like a 8-inch vise. And when you get an old 8-inch vise, or I'll even take 6. Size matters. Okay. Now here we go. Now we have to figure out which side goes where. Right. So. Exhaust. Exhaust is on that side, so that's going to be this bigger side here. Yeah. Make sure the L1 is facing that way. The one is back there that we talked about earlier. Slide that down. Ha! Don't forget the gasket. Right. So that gasket, let's just clean this surface off, because this thing used to be immaculate. I'm going to use an isopropyl. I use isopropyl. This is 99.9% pure isopropyl. This thing is a game changer. I mean, nothing, and I mean nothing, seems to be able to stay. Okay, I'm going to use some Permatech high-tech gasket sealant on this. I already know I don't know which bolts go into this thing. Anyway, alright, so we get this arranged. Okay, that's perfect. Is that right? No. No. And yes. No. That has to... No. Nope. Nope. Almost. No. Let's try this gasket. Okay. We're doing it. It's being done. So I just like to put this on both sides. Really helps it seal really nicely. Okay, exhaust is on that side. So slide this down. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't, because those holes need to line up. Which side is the exhaust side? So I got the orientation. It's this slope side here. It's going to be the intake. Yeah, on that side. So we want to find, we're going to need an Allen wrench. $7/32, I think. That's what it was. All right, check this. Oh boy. It's two flathead ones. Look like that. No, too big. So, it's 3/16, right? So 3/16. Okay. Alright, so those are going to go in here. Let's just double check. Make sure I got the right ones. Why does that feel so tight? So that makes sense. Yeah, that screws in quite nicely. Yeah, that's right. I like to double check before I put them in because I'm concerned that I'll strip it out or something. Okay, so that's these two. Here are these two flat. Okay. Little flat-headed ones. Okay, so remember this smaller hole goes on the slope side here. Get this lined up. Pull this piston down a little bit more. Also turn it, like I said, just keep the orientation the same. Alright, so really I just had to just double check. I don't like to cross thread things or damage things, especially when you can just take your time and look it up, because it was a little hard to screw down. So, okay, so that's going to go like that. Get that gasket there lined up with that. Okay, so let's get the other one also in place back here. Push it down. Okay, that's caught that. I'm going to do the opposite side just a little bit. Just want to catch it to get it started. Making sure that the gasket hasn't slipped. Okay, gasket's in place. All right. This one's a little tighter than that one, which is interesting, but it's not like the tight that sets off alarms like you're stripping anything, you know. So. All right, that's good. So that's solid. We're happy with that. So it kind of messed up here. This spring here, oops, sorry, this spring has to go up and under here to come out over there for the muffler. So I'm going to try to undo this spring. I'll tell you right now, that's going to not be that easy. So sit back, get some popcorn, watch me struggle. I don't want to take this cylinder head off again. I just don't want to do that. So thinking the way to go is taking the spring out, which isn't too bad. Can I just bend it? So taking it out. Yeah, I'm just gonna bend it up. Yeah, that's not gonna work. I'm just gonna pull this down. Yeah, the amount of hours I've spent figuring out, it's better not to cheat. Just pull it apart. Save yourself the energy. There you go. Slide that up. That goes back in like that. Okay, perfect. Got it? Got it. So I think I'm going to press this down a little bit here, because that's what helps it stays. Yeah, so go like this. Just kind of squeeze this down a little. Yeah, just kind of pull it up. Okay, so let's see if we can get this muffler on. So this muffler, right, it has, looks like this. Remember that sits in there, that hole? And I was wondering if there was a gasket for that, but I didn't see any, so take it for what it is. It's going to have that there. Can't really mess it up because it slides into there. There's only one way for it to go. Nope, 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 yes. Right? And then this has two holes here. Those line up with these two knobs here, so it's keyed. So that's going to go on like that. Well, no. Yes, okay. So that hole's going to go over there. So, let's see. Okay, so it might be better to get one side in. So I'm going to put that side in first. Put that down. Anytime you work with anything with any pressure, gas, or anything that's blowing or turning fast, always put on your glasses. You just never know what's going to happen. Just never know. So this might be easy, or it could be the fight of my life. Okay. Come on, you know where you want to go. How many say I'm going to get this done in under 10 seconds? Well, yeah, just don't speak too soon. Oh, this thing. These muffler setups, man, with the spring. They are the pain in my tuchus. Doesn't seem like that far, but let's a lot of work. How about this? No. It's a little smaller. Something a little smaller. More leverage. Ooh, that almost worked. Oh man. How about we raise up like this? Alright. Nah, almost. Close but no scholarship. Try a little bit smaller. I think I have an idea. I go up like that. Yeah. Go up. Come on. Don't you want to get on there? Come on. One of you out there got a workflow that's gonna chime in on this. I hope so eventually. Just give me an idea how to slide these things on. This thing. It's a pain in the butt. Such a pain. I want something a little bigger. Like that. Yeah. Struggle is real. I think I need a bigger screwdriver. What do you think? Yeah. How about how's the dikes? Like that. Okay. Close. Almost. We almost got it. Yeah, I don't want to. See, it's almost ruining it. I'll be back. Wait, hold on. Let's try this. Yeah, I don't want to cut the spring, you know, like grabbing on it too much. Yeah, I don't want to damage that spring. Almost had it. That sucks. I'm trying everything here. Oh my God. This is insane. Stay there. Really come up. Just do not know. It's the best way to go about this. Grabbing it with one tool was a good idea, but that's almost it. I think I got it. Come on. This feels like that should make sense. Got it! Oh my god. Now you know how to do it. I'm going to do two things before I proceed. This is I believe it's 400 grit sandpaper. And these parts of the magneto here, just need to make sure they're nice and shiny. Because it has a rust on it. Not a lot, but it does have some. Okay. This is 3000 grit. That looks better. Yeah. Okay, that's it. So it looks pretty good. Okay, so we need to lubricate the top end. So that turns. We just need to like just lubricate it a little bit. So we're going to use Marvel Mystery Oil. Let's just drip a little bit in there. It just helps with the lubrication. We need to put this back together, the flywheel and the magneto. These are two T25s. We have this spacer. Goes right there. You're going to need a feeler gauge. So I'm just going to slide this down. Yeah, this is it. These are T25s. You know, they're not T25s, they're actually hex. Oh, look at it. I am so wrong. Boy, I am just wrong. Is that right? Not too big. Okay, so this is 5/32. Yes. Okay, so you don't want to go too tight yet, right? Because you want to turn this around to where the magnets are. So that kind of like pulls it down. So that moves, right? So here, we're going to use the feeler gauge, and the thickness we want is it's 0.0110 inches or 0.25 millimeters. So you can either use the bronze or the silver. I'll use the silver one. They're the same size. If you don't have one of these, a business card would also work. So you slide it in between here like this. Turn this back. That's a good time to see a couple things. Like, see, I can see it lines up there with that. So I know that that's as far as that flywheel will go. So this is called set in the air gap. It's really important that this be set properly because the distance is important for accelerating electrons to help create spark from the magnet on the magneto. So if it's not set properly, you won't get any spark. Probably the last thing you want, right? Everyone hanging in there with that Corona thing? Gotta say, I'm having a little hard time. Been isolating myself so much. Okay. Alright, so that's the air gap. I've been feeling a little reluctant about doing this, but might as well. This is 5/32 hex. I need to actually lubricate the pull start. So I can hear how it sounds. I need to also take a look at it just to get a feel for the kind of condition it's in. Problem is, these pull starts, man, they're a pain in the butt. That's all I have to say. To get them back together, yeah. Okay. Alright, so those are those. I need to get the rust off of that. And they're a little coarse threaded because they go into plastic. Alright, now that's what it looked like. Just so we can get a feel. So that stops right there at the bottom. And I want to see if we can... Oh boy, looks like we might be in for a fight once I pull this off. Okay, so that's the spring right there. And it has some rusting that's happening on it. I think I'm just gonna give it a nice dosage of yeah, I'm gonna, you see, some rust is happening in there. Alright, I think it's a good candidate for some here we go. So. Alright, that looks good. Let's put it back together. Actually, before we do that, let's get some rust off of these. Right? Yeah, let's do that. Let's try 100 grit. There's a really good way to promote anti-rust. There's all kinds of sprays and stuff and waxes. This would be a good time to use those waxes. I don't have those, so I think I'm going to use some grease. I like to use marine grease. It's got corrosion control. Sure it does. I think I'm going to probably throw some grease back here also on this pull start, you know. Oh man, I need a better applicator process. Oops. Okay. And then we'll grease these. Actually, let's pull this a couple times. See if the grease got around. Yeah, alright. So we want to put these back. And coat these. Especially after I sanded them too, they're going to be very prone to oxidize because I removed the patina of rust. So this just keeps it from falling off. I want to put this back on here. We're going to need to, looks like it's kind of it's like a spacer that slides in between there. I'm unsure if I should or should not do this. I don't remember. This has a washer that goes on. This has two washers, the same size. They do have witness marks, so this has a flat surface. The witness marks are on that side. That tells me that that was pushing against that. So I'll slide that on. And here's my idea. Since this is metal on metal and it spins, it probably needs to be greased. So I want to just squeeze a little bit of grease inside of there. A little bit. And do a little, you know, just do it all on one side. Okay, good. So that's got grease in it now. I'm just going to slide it in like this. Yep. So this is what it's going to look like. We're going to do a little thing where we have to, this ground actually has to attach to the chassis. I want to give you a little bit of information. I thought about this, right? Why a channel like mine would be good for someone that is interested in like fixing hydrocarbon-based things. See, I fix cars, you know, I keep fixing bigger and bigger and bigger things, right? More complicated things. I don't have a garage, so I'm limited on what I can show you and produce. But when you fix these small things, right, what happens is that you get a deep understanding of like what the bigger thing looks like, because you're kind of like, oh, this makes sense, right? And you can extrapolate a little bit. So channels like mine are really good at like helping you understand the bigger picture, because you can work on these small things, and these small things are like what the big things are like. All the same pieces are there, and it takes away a lot of the mystery behind it, you know. So you know that this generates spark right here. That is going to be like a engine coil. Generation before that would be probably a distributor, you know. So this is like your distributor right here, and then this flywheel. Everything has a flywheel in it, because a flywheel needs to turn to keep momentum in the engine. And in other words, you get a spark and that piston goes up and down, right? You need to have some momentum to keep it going, so it can generate, to keep it going until the next spark. So everything has a flywheel in it, period, right? The next thing is understanding that a clutch, which is what this is. Everything has a clutch also. You know, there's just no way around it. Clutches, what they do, they're cool. This one expands as it goes faster with centrifugal force, and it grabs the it grabs this. Better angle. It grabs this metal part here and turns the shaft. So this is basically like what happens with within your car when you are, you know, shifting gears. You need to be able to be neutral. So because this car, your car keeps turning, but it doesn't keep moving, right? So you got to be in neutral. Neutral is when it's at rest, and the RPMs expand and grabs the drive shaft, and that gives power to your wheels. All right, so let's continue. Just to help you understand things a little better, and why it's good to like work on small stuff like this. They're easy to manage. You get the quick turnaround time. You know, you can see your problems a little easier, and they're all mechanical, so you don't get any issues related to you don't have to worry too much about the challenges of working with electrical things, because that's another type of diagnostics and mindset you need to have. So I'm going to put this back. So I'm just putting the space back under this here. So, okay, because I need to loosen this up top here. My concern is that flywheel, how loose it is. I hate it. I mean, it lines up, but it just gives me the heebie-jeebies. Okay. So that goes on like that, because this here, right, this needs to ground out. This is the off side. So that needs to ground out like that. Right. See, this is so loose. I don't know if it's gonna like stay. You know, this positive, the on part goes here. Actually, this terminal could use a little cleaning. Let's sand that off. Okay. In my ongoing quest to get this properly seated, I did a couple things. Took some sandpaper, sanded it off, make sure there's no like burrs. But I noticed something when I looked a little closer. Do you see how that protrudes right there? I wonder if that's stopping. This should be flat like that over here. See how that's flat? Turn it. Can I turn it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, this one sticks up a little bit. I think I need to punch that down. So. All right. So I got a punch. I'm trying to tap that flat. I think that might be stopping the flywheel from sitting all the way down. So I forgot to put that back on. And this has a lot of witness marks. You can see, so that's most likely going to be looks like that's definitely matching the flywheel, so that's going to go like that. That goes like that. And this gets a washer. I guess this has, again, witness marks facing that way, so that's how we know that goes up. And this is a 1/2 inch. And this tightens. Does this tighten really? Right, so this tightens rightsy tightsy. It's a little dirty. It's having a hard time starting. So I don't remember this being reverse threaded. Right. Okay, that's good. Now we need to keep the piston from moving, so remember the rope? I'm going to take the rope and slide it in to the put this at bottom dead center. Slide the rope in. The rope slide in. I want to keep the piston from moving, so. Alright, so. This is a 1/2 inch. Probably should Loctite that. What do you think? Let's get this out of there. That might be a candidate for Loctite now I think about it. Yeah, so we'll take that off and put some Loctite. Alright, so let's put a, I was thinking we'll do medium strength Loctite. Blue stuff. That's 242 blue. Okay. Pull that rope out. Okay. So we have 4 screws. These are all going to be finer thread screws, like the, let's see what we have, 1, 2. Yeah, they look like these. Remember those? This kind of a mushroom headish, but they're fine threaded. Those will just kind of go in there. I'll go caddy corner. I didn't go too tight because I want to make sure that the it sits properly. It's gonna be a terrible summer this year, isn't it? All this Corona stuff, man. It's gonna be a not so fun summer. Like nothing to do. Everything's going to be like shut down. You know what I mean? All the cool festivals are probably not going to happen. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking ahead too far. Who knows if I'll even survive that long. I might get coronavirus and die. It's a reality. Hopefully you're not. I hope that you're in good health, whatever you're doing, wherever you are. You know what's neat about this virus? MERS and H1N1 and all the other recent pandemics that's happened recently. They all have the same thing in common. You know what that is? Animal exploitation. That's right. People eating and using animals as chattel. That's what they all have in common. So, this is a great argument for veganism right here. You know, if you don't care about the environment, well, how about your health? As in, like, you can die because of your choices, you know? I don't know, it's a great time to think about these things. I know it's not a popular conversation for some, but it's noteworthy since it is the world that we live in. Yeah. Just gonna go over this. It's having a little hard time getting inside of that hole. That flag was going to go flying right off. What do you think? I think so. I don't trust it. I wonder if we can test it for spark now. Probably could, couldn't we? Just find a way to grab this thing. Let's check it for spark. Yep. Oh, it's got a lot of spark. You can't see it, but I can. How about here? Can you see this? Okay. We're moving in the right direction. Okay. So now we had to get these. You see, these are plastic. These plastic ones right here are going to get a. So what connects to the shaft. Alright, so we had to get this attached. Oh, that slides into here. Like this. Okay. And that takes 3 coarse threaded. It's going into plastic. So it's coming through here, going through here, going into this plastic right here. So that the threads on these are going to be thicker. That's how you can tell. See that mushroom head? Yeah, don't lose them. Okay. All right. Hope you saw that. And these are also hex. These are same size. Hex, which is 5/32. So. There's 2 up top, 1 below. And that's really neat about crises like the pandemic we're experiencing right now. Since so many people are in fear, right, it gives them perspective on their loved ones, you know, or people that they should spend their time trying to love. You know, like, so for instance, what I'm alluding to is like a lot of times people are enamored by people's material wealth, you know, and then get all insane about like who has stuff, right? And the truth is, at the end of the day, what it comes down to, right, is your relationships. You want to be able to be around people that you love and love you back. The kind of person that's going to show up for you. You know what I mean? When you're feeling sad, when you just got fired from your job, or your parents have died, or your cat's dead, or you need a ride to the airport at 3 a.m. on a Monday morning. You know, who's going to be there for you? That's really what you start to realize, you know, when you're sick, who's going to make you that chicken soup? You know, it's easy. The world is created in a weird way that it's easy to get distracted. You know, lose focus on those really important things, those relationships. And it sucks because so many people are just miserable. Just so many people are miserable. You know, I watch a lot of it all the time, and it's hard to see because they don't understand that the things that they put emphasis on is not in their best interests. How does that work, right? Because you think that self-preservation kicks in overdrive, right? But this is a weird kind of self-preservation problem because your brain is really evolved for dangers that are right in your face, like a lion or a snake. But these emotional injuries, they're not easy to like insulate yourself from. Don't go too tight because it's plastic. And that's where people kind of like struggle, you know, which is why like the self-help industry, romance industry, like how to find a love is so like blown up with like charlatans and demigods, you know. Well, either way, these things kind of give people perspective. Remember these little things? Yeah. They go into there like that. We have a gasket for here and a gasket for over here. I think we have another gasket. So we have 4 of them all together. But so we got that one on. Let's see. Okay, so I want to place this back, and it has a gasket that looks like that. This just kind of houses the carburetor, and that's the new gasket. I'm going to put a little bit of so you want to clean this surface really well. I cleaned it off with isopropyl, this right here. And I'm going to take this tacky stuff here. So it goes like that. So like this. I really love this stuff. It really helps create a nice seal. Can hinder and it can help at the same time. Ugh. It's like Spider-Man had a baby. Okay, so that uses those two. I should test this. Yeah, that is correct. Gotta be careful here. Okay, so this houses the that. So you want to make sure that right here, like that sits inside of there. Before you go tighten it down too much. So I'm a little sad about the using that wire wheel on it. If you look closely, you can see there's some gash marks all the way around. Is that better? Yeah. So that did not work out well. Not in this part of the... maybe that's too much. There you go. So we need to get rid of that because it's important that this bottom part be sealed pretty well because the air pressure builds up in here and that helps with regulating the diaphragm so it can pull fuel in. So you need to have a good seal down here. So we're gonna like just... Alright, let's do a little sanding with 220 and I'm gonna use this block on this flat side over here like that. I'm gonna dry sand it and then we're gonna do a little wet sand after. So oh yeah. This is 220 sandpaper. Oops, losing my trimmer. There's a lot of metal particulates in the air. Okay, so... That's definitely better. All right, let's we're gonna wet sand it with this. Let's use a little WD-40. This is 1,000 grit, so no, it's 3,000. That's nice. It's even okay. This is a WD-40 I'm spraying on it. It's like night and day. Wow, amazing. Yeah, that's definitely it. Okay, so I think I gotta do something else. I gotta see this top part here is a little being too anal. Yeah, just hit it some more. Okay, that surface is super polished now. Wow, that's amazing. Alright, let's clean this up with a little acetone. Or actually we can do some mineral spirits on there, see what we can do. See right here is a little not so clean part to me. Okay, that looks really good. Alright, so we're done with that bottom part. Alright, so we're gonna pull this carburetor apart, and it's not much to it. You've seen me do it before, so just watch. Just let you know, the carburetor has a couple problems with it. This primer bulb is really hard. It doesn't even flex. It's rock hard, so I need a new primer bulb. This is a typical failure point. It's got little ridges inside of there, and because it has those ridges, they tend to not, they fail over time from turning it, you know? So, see if you look right here, this is how the carburetor works. Look at this butterfly. Closes, opens like that. See? So this turns and closes. Right? So we had to pull this apart. Whoever had worked on this before, they put an O-ring right here to try to help keep tension on this. So yeah. And then over here on this side, we have this butterfly here that turns like that. So the number 455 is at the bottom here. And this just kind of pushes up against it like that. Alright, so I got the ultrasonic cleaner turned on, and I'm going to try to see if we can get this all pulled apart. this side we have the closest to the body here is the mesh. So it's the mesh. And then we have the this gasket. So gasket then mesh is, wow, that's cool. Those might be actually reusable. We're not going to do it, but you get the point. So that's that. So I'm going to get this primer bulb off of there. Wow, that thing is just petrified. There you go. It's rock hard. Okay, on this side, the okay, so that was like that. Just totally forgot. It's not like that. Okay, whatever. This will have two sides. So you have the diaphragm here in the middle. See? And the orientation has to be right. So these two holes, right, are keyed like that. Can't put them on any other way. Well, you could like that. Oh well, never mind. Sure. Anyway, so this came off. I don't know if I got the right orientation. I just totally forgot. But either way, you can look at my video and see. Okay, so that goes there. Actually, this has some witness marks like that. So, yeah, that was the orientation. So this went down first, and that. I'm sorry, like that, and then this went down on top of it. And I know this because you can see the shape, circular shape of that. So we have a needle and seat here. The spring, don't lose the spring, very important. You'll have a really long day if you lose that spring. And here's the needle. Oh my god, it looks like varnish. Okay, it's like gooey. So no, that's not magnetized. Okay, well. See how see the varnishy look. Okay. So that would be a reason why the fuel wouldn't get delivered. So in here is pretty bad. Okay. I wonder if we can take these all the way out. So this is the low side. It's got an L right here. Low. And this is high. So it's low again, and this is high. So let's take the low side out. I need to get as much of this that's just metal. I need to leave it to as much metal as possible because I'm going to put it in the ultrasonic cleaner. And the ultrasonic cleaner, the medium that I have is brake parts cleaner, and hot brakes parts cleaner will destroy plastic, but it cleans really, really well. So I'm going to do the high now. So the high and the low are, I don't see any difference in them. Actually, maybe I do. Hold on. Yeah, the low is definitely, I'll show you what I mean. Okay, high is this one. This is low. The low is considerably thinner in diameter. So high, low. Thinner in diameter. The springs also anyway. And you want to make sure that these the tips of these don't get damaged. Okay, so that's all of the metal. There's a piece of plastic here on this. I'm not going to remove this because it's not necessary. I'm just going to hang it like that, suspend it like that, and let the ultrasonic cleaner do its job. So I've had some brilliant moments, and then I've had some not so brilliant moments. So I kind of glued that when I epoxied it. Oh well. So we're going to cut this off. Okay. So that's that. Let's stick that back in there. Might be a blessing actually, because at least it goes all the way around. We know it goes inside. So we need to find out. Get a diameter. We're going to drill out a new hole. So that hole, right? Here's some fuel line. I'm going to take this fuel line here, and we're going to put that, and that comes out of here onto this, like that. Yeah, it's perfect. Let's check this side. That looks pretty good for both sides. Okay. So now we need to get the diameter of this. 4.81 millimeters or 0.189 thousandths of an inch. Yeah. So we want to get something that kind of matches that dimension. And you can see it. Perfect. So we got to get a drill bit for that size. What are you thinking? A little smaller though. It's can't be as big. 7/32. Yeah, I like it. Fifteen 64ths. It's possible. But, I mean, sorry, it's too big. What's the next smaller? 13 64ths. Three 16ths. Yeah. 11 64ths. Okay, that'll be a tighter fit. I'm interested. Let's see. I'm getting close. So we know 11 64ths is smaller. Not by a lot, but smaller. I think we should go smaller. Let's go 5/32. Yeah, we can. If that doesn't work, then we know we'll go up. Because you don't want to go too big because you can't, undrill without having to like patch the hole again. So it's better for us to just go like this. So I'm thinking keep it to the front because we have to reach and grab it. So yeah, it's perfect. So my thoughts are, you can feed it through here because it's so close to the front. We won't have to fight, to pull it through. So we'll do that. If it's too small, you can always drill the hole a little wider. But it's a good start. And that's 5/32. All right. So we have that new hole for the wider one. And then we need to do okay, so what else? What am I missing? That. Oh yeah, here we go. Almost forgot to do this. So this has a little check valve at the top. I want to put this in the ultrasonic cleaner also, but I do not want to put rubber in there because that will not. So I'm going to pull that off. So just going to push it over to the side. Just pop it out like that. Okay. So that looks like. Okay. So now we should be able to put this in the ultrasonic cleaner also. So this carburetor has a lot of really cool stuff happening with it. Right here is a wash plug, like a bronze one. Right there. And that's in the kit. And we have a regular Welsh plug, aluminum one. Maybe that's aluminum, but anyway. So you have two wash plugs, right? Over here is a mesh, wire mesh filter. A little hard to see. There you go. So you can actually pull that out and replace it. The kit does come with a replacement. I'm not going to do that. So, but I just wanted to show you. And here's the left and right. It's low and high. I mean, not left and right. Low and high. Alright. Cool. So when we put in the ultrasonic cleaner, I'm going to hang it from here. Leave this open. And these are the old parts. These are the new parts. So we have to put this back in. This is like a check valve, I believe. This over. This goes on first. Let's just double check. So it looks like this. Yeah, because it's going to match that passage. And the gap is going to be right there. And then for that one, we have two the longer screws. So flip that over. So that's that. New primer bulb. this controls the you know, the idle speed. This screw. That's a good sound. And you have this side now. So I recommend doing this over a bucket, because if you lose the spring, it's going to be hard to, it's going to be a long day. Here's our needle. That goes in there. This goes under the needle, like that. And then the spring actually goes under that. I've yet to figure out the easiest way to do this. Sometimes I get lucky. I don't think today's that day. Almost launched that spring. That's great. Oh, just launched it just now. So when you put it in a bucket, like when it launches, you don't have to freak out, because most likely the bucket will catch it. You know. Alright, good. We did it. So now we gotta get the small screw. Very small one. Without a washer. This has no washer, just so you can remember. I didn't use a new screw or a new needle because the one that's in here is pretty good already. So Walbro makes this specialty tool. That's the part number. Zama also has one for their carburetors. And so this is 500-13-1. And so what you do, it looks like this. Looks like a W, right? And you find the carburetor make. So this is a WT carburetor. That's the model. That's the classification, and the subclassification. The specific number on this is a 963, and there's a D6 also. Now what you do, right? You look for your WT, and what this tool does, it helps you. It's for your metering level. It gives you the level of this. This is the metering right here. So you look for WT. Right, that's the WT right here on the carburetor, and it has a bunch of different letters for different carbs, like WB would be there, WG, etc. Right, so you go WT, right, and then you take this, you put it on top of there, right, and you look for clearance, look for it to touch it, just barely touch it. Like right now, it's a little too low. I'm sorry, I can't see. Yeah, there you go. It's a little too low, right? So what I'll do, I'm going to bend the tab up just a little bit right here. So we can just a little. Right, I'm going to check again. I just wanted to touch it. I'm sorry. Yeah, just like that. Okay, so that's how that works. So it helps you get the levels correct, so that way you don't have any issues with the fuel coming back into the carburetor and flooding the engine. Okay. Let's get this part in. This goes down first. Now this top has a hole, so you have to make sure that hole points towards this end over here. So this goes on first, like that. And then the diaphragm itself goes on top of it. That has a knobby part right here. This knobby part goes down like that. And then this goes on top like this. Alright, so we get the high and lows back in. So those are easy because the diameter is a dead giveaway. The larger diameter is in the high. Smaller diameter is on the low. With these, you tend to want to do like 1.5. I'm going to do like 1.5 back out, so you go all the way in, and then you come back out. All the way in. Don't go hard because you don't want to damage the tips. Just let it touch. So touch, then you're going to go half, whole, 1.5. Same thing on this side. That's a good starting point, and then you can always adjust it as it runs. Half, whole, 1.5. Okay, so that's the carb. So you can test it now, right? By let's see. So we can do the. Let's see what we got over here. I'm going to test it to make sure that that it's actually functional. So I'm going to put this on here. The other part's in my mouth. Okay. So what I'm trying to do, I need to figure out is this side. One's gonna suck air in, the other one's gonna let air out. It's a little harder than I thought. Okay, this obviously, I think this top part's going to be sucking fuel in, so that's going to be the part where the fuel filter goes in, because that only makes sense because this comes down and creates a suction. So the fuel filter is going to be on this side, and this will be the return. So. Pretty sure. Let me see if I can blow into it. If I turn it upside down, if it'll like be open. So right now it should be closed. Yeah, I can feel the pulse in my mouth with the air being pushed. Just pushing air out this way, so that means, let me show. Yep, I turn it upside down. So I'm sorry. When it's this way, it pushes out. When it's this way, nothing comes out. So that makes sense because it's seated now. So that looks good. We can do a pressure test, so we'll do that just to make sure. So I'm not really sure I wasted your time before, but here we go with the other imperfect test. So we have this set up for pressure, and this is on the going back out to the fuel tank. This is the return side, so this should hold 10 psi. It didn't hold at 10, but it is holding at you can see. There you go. So it's 7. It's going a little slow. Okay. Alright, let's check the other side. So I'm going to go on this side now, right? And I should see pressure build up if I push this. See? Well, that holds at 10 psi. So we know that that check valve is good on that side. See, this way pushing that. So release that. Cool. So my concern is I didn't see a nice solid hold on this side. Let me do it again, just to make sure. That'll give me a good feel for if the engine's going to flood. I don't know if I didn't have enough of a connection. Alright, so it looks like, yeah, that's solid. It was leaking a little bit through there, so I had to just kind of moisten it up a little bit to get a better seal right here. So now we're at 10. It's pretty good solid. It's not creeping. Good. So I kind of made a bit of a mistake with the hole that I drilled. It's a little close to the end here. Whatever, I probably should have moved it over to here some more so I can grab it a little easier. But do what we do well with what we have, right? So usually you cut this on a nice steep angle like that. And just steepen it up a little bit more. Makes it a little easier to get through the hole. Yeah, that'll work. So I tend to use a little bit of a silicone spray. Makes it who doesn't love a little lube? And I've gotten so good at putting things in holes over the years that even in dark places I seem to be able to come through like a champ. So I don't know, I'm thinking that hole is a little tight, which is usually a good thing. But I'm not sure if I can grab it. So I just want to get just enough in there. Just work it. Just work it back and forth. That's the way you do it. That'll make you memorable. You're gonna do it, you might as well do it right. Alright, there you go. Even small holes are good ones. Love it. There you go. Haven't lost the touch yet. So now when we have that, we need to get a fuel filter on here, right? So let's just pull this through some more. Right, and we're going to get a fuel filter on that. Just going to cut that off. This should go on quite easily. I think that's a match. So what we want is just enough that it kind of sits at the bottom. I'll pull it through some more. Yeah, that'll work. Alright, perfect.